What's up, YouTube? This is What's in My Gray Garage. Today we're going to talk about a 1952 Farmall Cub. It is I've had this tractor for about 10 for about 10 years now. I did a somewhat of a restoration on it. Basically just cleaned it up really good. I painted it, did some work to the engine. Basically did like head gasket, radiator, rebuilt a bunch of parts on it. And when I got it, it ran great. When I rebuilt it, it even ran better. And then I let it sit, unfortunately, like most Farmall Cubs end up sitting, or most farm tractors do, because you just don't have, it's one of those things, if you don't run these things at least once a week, every other week, even for 5 minutes, they get weird. The carburetors gum up, the fuel tanks get kind of cruddy. It doesn't take long for these old tractors to really go south in a hurry. So, but this one here, I had, as you can see with the battery there, I put a new battery in it, and I got new terminals on it. I know those aren't the greatest terminals, people don't like them, but for what I needed to use, it's good for right now. I'll figure something out a little bit better later. But as of right now, I do have some sort of power to it. Let's see. See, I'm getting power to the starter, and power's leaving here. But when I get mixed up and get up inside there in the dashboard there, it's real hard to see. Once you get up inside that dash, there's something going on, and it's not even a dash, a little control panel here. It's held on by like 4 screws and 2 bolts. And really all it is an amp meter, a light switch, a fuse, and a ground switch, pull in and out to shut it off. You pull it out to start it and run it, push it in to shut it off. So it's pretty simple. But unfortunately, I got to take this that panel back off and see what's going on. I think there's a loose wire that's throwing me off, and it's getting power because the power goes from the starter back up to the amp meter and then jumps over from the amp meter to the switch. And I believe one of the connectors is loose, which has given me my problem. So it'll crank all day. It just won't fire. I'm not getting sparks. So the spark's got to come back from the amp meter back to the coil and give it power. And that's where I'm running into my problems with the wire harness. I rebuilt the wire harness when I did the tractor, and it was actually the old wire harness was just falling apart. So I just laid it out on a bench, and I put it all together by doing each wire one at a time and putting the connectors on it. And, I took my time with it, and it really worked good. I had no problems, no issues with it. It just, like I said, it sat for a long time. For some reason, that one wire is loose in there, and I don't know if it was probably loose the entire time, and I just never saw it. But anyways, we're going to give that try to tighten that up and see if we can get it done. See, I had this thing all painted real nice, and you can see where the rust is actually started wearing through. That's what happens when you get, you have something that you don't use very often. It has a tendency to get pushed outside for a little bit. It's only supposed to be for a day or two, and 3, 4, 5 weeks go by, and then months, and then, then it's back in the condition as it was in. So, but right now I've got this tractor I'm trying to get running. Actually, I got 3 of them. We've got the 1962 Farmall Cub, which really just needs the sheet metal put back on, fastened down. I got to put the wire harness in it, and that should fire right up. And then I've got the John Deere back there, which that already runs pretty good. I just have to do a few little minor things to it. But I don't want to mess with that too much right now, because I don't want 3 tractors down. I'd like to get 2 up if I can, and see if we can go from there. Plus, unfortunately, there's another tractor auction going on, and I can't help myself. I'm addicted to these things. I'm probably going to buy another one, so if the price is right. But anyways, this is my 1950 Farmall Cub. Now, some people may know, but 1950 they had the demonstrator models that came out in the early 1950s, and when they came out in the early 1950s, they were painted white. And what they did is they took that early year, that spring, and they took them, and it wasn't just a Farmall Cub, it was all the models of Farmall, or Farmall McCormick tractors, International Harvester. They took those tractors, and what they would do is they would give them to a farmer for a week or 2 weeks or whatever they decided to do, and they'd bring them some implements that they would need for whatever they were getting ready to do, whether they were getting ready to plant, or if they were, tilling their fields, or however they were, whatever stage they were in. And the whole idea was, the demonstrator model was to sell it, to sell that tractor to somebody. So if you come across a 1950s tractor that's white, those are really rare, because there was only so many of them done and painted white. And what actually happened is, once they were painted white, if the farm owner or the landowner that wanted the tractor just said, hey, I want to buy it, they would take that tractor back to the dealership, and they would paint it red, and then they would return it back to the farmer, and the farmer would then go ahead and use the tractor. But there has been some incidences where some people have found out that the tractors are white underneath the red, which means they were a demonstrator model, or they actually have the white tractor. It's very, very far and few between, but they do find them. Every so often you'll hear somebody talk about it. But unfortunately, my tractor is a 1950, but it's a late 1950 tractor. It was built in like October, November. So by this time, the demonstration period was over. So I technically have the year of a demonstrator, but I do not have a demonstrator model. So, and I've looked underneath the hood for paint, and I've checked everything, and it definitely is not one, and a serial number also. But yeah, just a little bit of history for you on these things. These are great little tractors when they're running. Unfortunately, they become yard ornaments if you don't. You got to stay after them, and you just got to keep them moving. It's just one of those things. Time is not a friend of lack of use. If you don't use it, it's going to have a problem. So, but yeah, anyways, again, this is my gray garage. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe. My next videos will be coming out on this tractor, and also the John Deere once this one gets running. I apologize for the delay in some of the videos. I just have I've had some stuff going on, just haven't had a chance to really do a video, and I'm doing stuff, just not doing stuff where I thought people would find it interesting. So anyways, we're going to try to get this ready for the spring. I'm going to try to do some soybean fields coming up, and not soybean fields, sunflower fields. I want to put a sunflower field in just a couple of acres, just to see how it does this year. And I'm going to try to use this tractor, my John Deere, and the other tractor. So anyways, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time.